If you're my family, I'd rather you not listen to this. I mean, you can if you want to, but just, don't bring it up. Ever, please? That would be great. Thanks. Hey friends, it's M from GSA. I originally recorded this episode yesterday on the clamshell in my backyard, smoking a few bowls, and I edited it and everything, and it was almost done. I am going to record my podcast episodes throughout the week, just so I don't have to sit there for an hour and force myself to talk. But last night, before bed, I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts, which is Clean Hamster by Dean Hepshire. And I didn't feel happy with the podcast I had originally made. It felt too tight, I guess. I was trying so hard to cover up my stimming and my autism brain. And I was like, hey, you are making this podcast because you just want to talk and get your thoughts out. And you shouldn't have to cover up or hide yourself, so I'm not going to. And sorry if you think me saying every 5 seconds is annoying. My benefits don't give me enough money to afford a full course of therapy, so we're gonna try this for now. This is not going to be a podcast where I sit here and complain about life all day. It's going to be stories from my childhood and from various points in my life, because I have a lot of really weird, deep memories, and they don't really make sense to anyone but myself, and no one else would care about them but myself, but they're in my brain, and they have nowhere to go. So I thought, hey, why not tell my friends about it? So that's what we're gonna do. So the name of this podcast, it's called M from GSA. And I came up with the name because I was the president of the Gay Straight Alliance in high school. And I also did the announcements. So every Wednesday, we would have GSA at lunchtime, and a couple times a month, whenever we had a fundraising event, selling cupcakes for HIV awareness or doing something with the Trevor Project, I would get on to the announcements and I'd be like, hey Maxwell, it's M from GSA. And I'd say my shit, and then I would go back to class, and I thought I was the coolest fucking person. I wasn't. So the format of this podcast, basically, the episodes are going to be titled after songs that I would have listened to at that point in my life. So for today, for example, this episode is called Why Not by Hilary Duff, and it's a two-parter reason. One, because when I decided to do this podcast, I pulled a Hilary Duff and I was like, why not? Let's just see what happens. And another reason is because today I'm going to be talking about my first ever girl crush, who I met in grade 4, and I was huge into Hilary Duff in grade 4. I mean, I still am, but I was a hardcore Hilary Duff fan in grade 4. Let me paint a picture for you here. I was in grade 4. I had just moved from Bosco Catholic School to Thomas Aquinas French Immersion Catholic School for 2 reasons. 1, I wanted to learn French, and 2, I was getting bullied at Bosco, and I was like, and I needed to get out. I walk in to Madame Costanzo's class, first day of grade 4, and I see this beautiful, tall, blonde girl sitting with a bunch of guys talking about hockey. And my little gay brain was like, I need to be her friend immediately. And I tried to. Throughout grade 4 and 5, I was just really nice to her. And she invited me to one of her birthday parties one time, which was on May 14th. And then that date of May 14th never left my brain for the next 15 years. Every year on May 14th, I've been like, oh, it's Sierra's birthday, cool. And I went on with my life. Also, I know I just name dropped, and I don't really care. You don't know her last name. It could be anyone. So of course, at the time, I didn't know it was a crush because I was 9. I didn't know what being queer was. But I just knew that I really wanted to spend time with this girl, and I really liked her, and I thought she looked really cute in her cadet uniform that she used to wear to Remembrance Day assemblies. And here is where the story gets slightly juicy. She moved back to English school in grade 5 or something. And I was at the mall with my mom, and she was at the mall with her mom, and we bumped into each other in the food court. And I took it upon myself to say goodbye and tell her that she was my best friend, that I loved her very much, and I would miss her when she moved. And I hugged her, and then I never spoke to her again. She never reached out. I never reached out. That was that. And that time in my life has lived rent-free in my head ever since. I follow her on Instagram now, and she looks really happy. She has a girlfriend. She looks like she's doing well, and I really like being able to look up your old elementary school classmates and see that they're doing well and they're happy. I really like it. It feels like a happy ending to me, I guess. Closure. Still on that topic of checking up on your old elementary school friends, I think it's really interesting how many people ended up queer, and that's never something you think about when you're like 10 in learning recorder in Madame Blair's class. You don't think about how many people around you are going to be gay. And I think that's really interesting because, I used to think that I had like the best gaydar in the world, and I was wrong. My gaydar's fucking garbage, and the reason for that is because sexuality and gender is so fluid. And oh, look, there's an Owen, and Owen has entered the chat. Hello. I'm getting ready for work and recording this in my room while I get ready for work, and Owen has just entered the chat. Hello, my son. Hello. Do you have anything to say to the people? Do you have anything to say to your friends? No? Okay. You're probably just looking for milk and attention, as per usual. Sorry, back to my story. Gender and sexuality is fluid, and I don't really think gaydars should be a thing anymore. To me personally, it seems like a 2004 queer person, like, adult type of thing. And we've come a long way since 2004. taking my antidepressants 'cause I'm sad. So yeah, summarize that story. I used to think I had a really sick gaydar, and it's not. And on to the next story, which it was coming out in grade 7. So I'm gonna touch on this a little bit. In grade 7, I came out as bi. In grade 10, I came out as gay. And now, at the age of 24, I am coming out as bi again because your girl was wrong, apparently. And that's fine. You know, people grow and change, and that's fine. Hi friends, I'm driving to work and thought that it would be a good idea to podcast while I drive, because, you know, driving, you have a lot of thoughts. So, gaydar's fucking stupid, and in high school, I thought I was, like, that gay bitch, and, I mean, I kind of was, a little bit. I was president of the Gay Straight Alliance, and I tried really hard to make everyone feel welcome and included, and my viewpoint at that time was, oh, like, you're definitely gay, you should join GSA, because it's great, and it's a safe space. And anyway, I outed someone. I forced someone out of the closet, and I feel bad about it. We were friends in all through high school for the most part, and then we actually went to Seneca College together, and that is when he ghosted me, which I understand. I'm a lot. It's fine. It's fine. I forgive you. You're not listening to this, but I forgive you. I outed him, and I forced him out in, like, grade 10 or 11, and that wasn't right, and I feel really bad about it to this day. I just wanted people to feel safe, because when I first came out, I did not feel safe. I went to Catholic elementary school. I had moved back to Bosco after leaving Aquinas midway through grade 6. So I'd moved back to Bosco, and I had become friends with some people who I guess were like emo. Like, I was an emo kid in high school, or in elementary school, sorry. And I mean, part of high school, like, up until, like, grade 10, I guess. I would say I was, like, alternative. Or at least I tried to be. And I was also a very gullible person. Especially, at this time. Because, honestly, man, like, I just wanted people to fucking like me. And I wanted friends, and, you know, they always tell you, just be yourself and you'll make friends. Maybe don't be yourself. And, you know, it's okay. You know, fake it till you make it. Is my advice. Based on prior experience when I was being myself. And people were not really a fan. I was very gullible. And, well, I say gullible, but let's be real here, that was literally just, like, undiagnosed autism shining through my youth. I thought people were my friends. And some of them were, some of them weren't. A memory that sticks out to me is I was in grade 8, and I was like, I'm gonna be real with you, I was kind of like boy hungry during this time of my life. Like up until high school, I was pretty boy hungry, I guess. Like, I had crushes on all sorts of guys who I barely knew, and I was like, oh, I think he's really cute. And that was that. So, grade 8, I had a bit of a crush on this guy named Brian. And he was such a sweetheart, and he is still to this day such a sweetheart. I see him walking his dog on my street sometimes. Great, it's a great time. He's very nice. We say hi. But a bunch of, I guess they would be considered like the popular crowd in that little grade 8 circle were like, hey, let's fuck with M, and Brian, you go ask her out and date her for the day. Here's $20. So they paid someone to date me and then told me about it after, and I felt like shit. And this was right before I came out, and I don't know why I thought that a Catholic elementary school would be the best place to come out. But I did. I wouldn't say I was encouraged, but more so I felt like it was a safe time for me, because this was in 2009, 2010. So Ellen had recently gotten married, and we were doing a project in, I'm pretty sure this is in grade 7, because I was in Miss Levy's class. We were doing some like collage board thing, and someone I was friends with, their name is Mac, they had a picture of Ellen on their collage board, and I was like, oh, like, why do you have Ellen on your collage board? Like, isn't she gay? And they were like, yeah, she is, and that's fine. And I was like, oh, okay. And so Mac made me feel safe, and so I decided to come out, and it did not go well. Unfortunately, it did not go well. We had our graduation trip, and I guess the previous grade 8s who had graduated, now that I was in grade 8, their grad trip was to Ottawa, and I think someone brought alcohol on the trip, and so they're like, okay, fuck that, we're not going to Ottawa anymore, we're gonna go to some Pioneer Village shit up in the Kawarthas in the middle of March in -20 weather. And I was like kind of stoked, because I had always thought how great my elementary school graduation trip was gonna be, and I was gonna make all these memories. And then I wasn't allowed to go. And there was gonna be like snowshoeing and all sorts of Pioneer winter activities. And I was told that I couldn't go, because if I were to go, they would not have anyone to room me with, because I guess all the girls had got together and went to a teacher and been like, hey, Em says she likes girls and we don't want her on the grad trip because we're nervous that if she comes on the grad trip and sleeps in the same room as us, she's gonna do weird shit to us. And I'm kind of annoyed that the administration went along with that. But again, Mac came to my defense, and they were like, hey, I will room with her if no one wants to, because I don't think there's anything wrong with someone being queer. I didn't end up going on this grad trip, because fuck the winter. Was not a fun time, didn't want to do it, but I wish that I had had an option to go, even if I wanted to. And yeah, so that was grade 8. That whole kerfuffle. And it's funny because when I came out, at the time it was bi, when I told people I liked girls, there was a whole, time at recess where the popular girl, I guess, told me that their mom did not think I was a very good influence, and so they couldn't hang out with me anymore. And this was the same attitude that a bunch of folks had within that circle, and it made me feel bad. But it happens. I'm over it. I am over it. It's been so long. It's just the shit that is revealed as people become adults and grow into themselves, and the way people change, I think, is really interesting. That's part of the reason why I started this podcast, to look back on childhood memories and high school memories and that brief time at Seneca College memories, and just learn from those experiences and grow. And yeah, I was the original queer, and all of you who came out after me were just following my trend, and that's fine. I support you. This might be it. I don't know what else I want to talk about in this episode. Next episode, I'm probably going to be talking about all of the boys I ever had a crush on, ranging from JK to grade 9, and it's gonna be a fun time. You're gonna want to stick around for that one. So this has been M from GSA. Bye. Love you. Have fun.